Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel for a late night chat. So I'm gonna read to you something from a scripture that I think is, well, I know is very important, I think. Okay, so it's 1 Corinthians 13, 4 to 13. Okay. You probably know this scripture, I'm sure. At least, some of you are aware of this. It says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Prophecy and speaking in unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love lasts forever. Now, our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when you have time of perfection, when the time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror, and then we will see everything in perfect clarity. That all that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God knows me completely. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. So, that's 1 Corinthians 4 to 13. That's very important because we live in such a dark, evil world. I mean, evil has always existed, because sin existed ever since Adam and Eve. We all know the backstory when in Genesis that Adam and Eve sinned against God when they had the forbidden fruit from that tree. So that's how sin entered the world. And ever since then, it's like generation after generation after generation, up to including now, sin has been in existence. All of us are sinners, all of us are born with original sin. That gets washed away at baptism. So it's very important that if you're not already water baptized, please do so. It's very important. Jesus stresses that importance. If you read John chapter 3, the first part of it, he had that conversation with Nicodemus about this. But going back to the topic of love, God is love. God created us to have that relationship with Him. That's the meaning and purpose of life itself. And there is no other reason other than that we exist. We're created to love each other, but unfortunately, all the dark stuff like sin and hate, evil acts, so on and so forth, they still unfortunately exist. And we live in perilous times. There's the war between Ukraine and Russia. There's the fighting in Israel. There's the assassination attempt on Trump yesterday. The list goes on and on and on. I really don't need to sit here and list all the bad stuff that's been going on that's on the news. All you have to do is click on the internet on your phone or tablet or computer, whatever device you use, or the TV. It's right there. And that's, I really feel, and I know this from reading scripture, that love conquers all. Love will outwin and outshine everything. We have to have love in our hearts to radiate to other people, because we live in such a broken world that that the only thing to do is love. and also to pray. We have to pray to the Lord, because we can't fix every problem that exists in the world. No single human being could ever fix every single problem in the world. Only the Lord could do that. But He does allow what He allows to happen in our lives for whatever reason or reasons. Now, I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. Some people may not believe it. Some people scoff. Some people are true believers of that. Okay, whatever, to each their own. That's fine. I believe that things happen for a reason. We may not understand or know what these reasons are until, it's revealed. I also learned a long time ago that when we get to heaven, we'll know the reason why things happen in our lives. I couldn't find anything specific in scripture that pertained to that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would have to do a little bit of homework on that, and find out. But I don't remember coming across anything that pertained to that in scripture. I would have to dig deeper. But anyway, going back to the topic of love, and it's just very important that we love each other. And we can't have any room for hate. We can't hate on each other. There's a difference between dislike and hate. And I personally believe, and I could be wrong, that you could actually love a person without actually liking them. I've been in situations as where that I may not particularly like that person, but I love them. Like, I respect them as human beings. And it's important to be kind to all the people that you come across. Even those who give you a hard time. Even those who may not return that or who ignore you. Whatever you do, don't retaliate. It's not gonna work. I'm telling you right now. Retaliation always backfires. You think that, there are a lot of people, and I met a ton of people who believe that it's okay to retaliate, it's okay to do this and that because something's been done to them. No. That's a very flawed way of thinking. That's an evil way of thinking. And that never works. And I'll tell you why it's flawed and evil. Because that person is stepping into God's shoes and acting like they're God. They can't do that. Jesus taught us to love our enemies, no matter who they are. It doesn't matter who they are. I've had tons of people wrong me. But am I going to sit there and retaliate now? I do ruminate a lot about what happened and why and this and other thing, I will admit. But I don't hate them. I may not like what they did. I may hate what they did to me. But as human beings, I don't hate them. I don't want to be like that. And I don't encourage it. And we need to love people like Jesus loves us. He taught his disciples to love. He taught his disciples not only to love people in general, but to love your enemies. Love God. Love yourselves. In a healthy way. Not like an egotistical way, in a healthy way. And I really believe that love conquers all. You're not going to accomplish anything by hating evil. Not going to happen. Point blank, tell me, not going to happen. And people think that, they could put this, that, and another one in their place and gonna solve the problem. And now, before you know it escalates because why you had to sit there and retaliate. No, it never works. Always choose love.